Hello and welcome to Bottom Line. Well, on a day when Prime Minister Narendra Modi has made it crystal clear that India is firmly committed to protect its sovereignty and that the nation is capable of giving a befitting reply to anyone if the need arises, the big question that lingers is what prompted China to carry out what is being seen as a deliberate attempt to destabilize peace. Why this big escalation when talks were on to diffuse tension? What are the options now before India? Will things de-escalate in the days to come or will it linger? How to go about tackling this situation? To discuss this tonight, I'm being joined by BJP MP from Arunachal, Tapir Gao. Welcome, Mr. Tapir Gao, to Bottom Line. Ninong Ering, Congress MLA and former MP, also joins me from Arunachal. Patricia Mukhim, the editor of Shillong Times, is joining me from Shillong. Later in the show, I'll be joined by Shamim Zakaria, former foreign editor of Global Times, Beijing. Also, later in the show, Brigadier Ranjit Borthakur will be joining me. But before I get on with the discussion, we have to cut across to Imphal for a big breaking news. Well, as many as 9 MLAs have withdrawn their support from the BJP-led and Biren Singh-led government in the state. Of these, 4 are NPP MLAs, 3 are BJP MLAs, 1 TMC MLA and an independent MLA. All of them have withdrawn their support from the Biren Singh-led coalition government in Manipur. As per latest reports coming in, all the 9 MLAs have extended their support to the Congress in the state. This is the big breaking news that these are 9 MLAs. 9 MLAs have withdrawn support. We are cutting across live to a press conference in Imphal right now. Let's listen into what they have to say.
Yamna Thajaba Manghigani Haibashi Congress Party Manipur Praja Singhi Thajaba.
Right there we have the veteran Congress leader addressing our Manipur Bureau Chief Sharad Chandra joins us over the phone. Sharad, this is a big development. This is a big development. What is the latest update that you have, Sharad? If we are connected with Sharad. Okay, we have lost the line there. So, big development this, viewers. 9 MLAs have withdrawn their support from the BJP-led coalition government in Manipur. Of these, 4 are NPP MLAs, 3 BJP MLAs, 1 TMC MLA and 1 is an independent MLA. The bigger news is that all of them have extended their support to the Congress in the state. So, we'll be keeping a track. We'll be keeping track of this development. All right. We're being joined over the phone by Sharad Chandra, our Manipur Bureau Chief. Sharad, big development. What led to this situation, Sharad? Very quickly.
Yeah, Navaron, in case we talk about the political, then this is a very big political development in Manipur. Right now, the press conference started just 30 minutes ahead. Still, the press conference is on. Now, the CLP leader, former Chief Minister of Manipur, Oibo, is speaking to media person before him that 9 MLAs, just in 4 NPP MLA, then 3 BJP MLA. Then another Trinamool Congress, lone Trinamool Congress MLA and an independent MLA. In total, 9 MLA now already withdraw support from this present Biren Singh-led coalition government, and now they have joined hand with the Congress to form the new government in Manipur.
So what are the numbers right now, Sharad? What are the numbers right now? What are the numbers? What is the equation right now?
You see the present Biren Singh-led coalition government in Manipur reduced to 24 because 25. BJP in the 2017 election they win 21 seats and plus NPF support, Naga People Front 4 MLA. So with this NPF 4 MLA and the 21 BJP MLA, they reduced to 25 MLA. So now in Congress do have the 29, because I am not counting those 8 earlier MLAs from Congress who are facing the disqualification case. Congress after 2017 election, they won 28 seats, but now just after declaring the election result in the 2017, the 8 Congress MLA already defected Congress and joined BJP, supporting the BJP. So 8 MLAs from Congress now facing the disqualification case. One MLA have already disqualified by the Assembly Speaker Tribunal. Now another 7 MLA is facing the disqualification case, and they even brought their entry by the High Court to the Assembly of Manipur. So minus 5. So now the Congress do have the 29 with the support from this NPP, BJP, and the lone MLA of Trinamool Congress. And
so what are the other options? What are the other options the Congress is looking at right now, Sharad? And will they stake claim to form the government? What are the other options they are looking at? And what about the BJP camp?
Nabarun, you see, as the Congress is having a 29 MLA, then they can stake claim, because now the Manipur Assembly seats reduced to 52. Manipur to have the 66. As the 8 MLAs facing the disqualification case, they should not be counted. So only now the 52 is the majority seat. So if Congress do have the 29 number, then they can easily form the government. As the BJP lead government already reduced to 25, I think it became now they are in minority, Nabarun.
So can you expect the Congress to stake claim by tonight, or Sharad, when are they likely to stake claim? Any information on that?
I think now even the reception ceremony is on in Imphal West area in an undisclosed space. So I think tonight they may claim to form the government to the governor of Manipur. Otherwise, they may claim by tomorrow also. But the number is with Congress now.
Sharad, this is a massive political development in the region. The Biren Singh led BJP government in Manipur, BJP coalition now in a minority. Any information on what could have led to this situation? Why these 9 MLAs decided to part ways? Are there any big names in there, Sharad?
Yes, this NPP MLA, who is the president, who was earlier the deputy CM of Manipur. I already forwarded this question that what could be the reason behind this leaving the BJP. His answer was at all no one is happy in the BJP. So they are also not happy from the beginning. So it is the only last option that they are leaving BJP and joining Congress. And joining Congress, they are hoping that they can form a new government in Manipur, Nabarun.
Sharad, any reactions from the BJP camp? Any reactions from the Chief Minister? Any reactions from the top BJP leaders?
You see, Nabarun, from at around 7 in the evening, we do have the information regarding this development, and we are rushed to one place in Imphal West to have this news. So as of now, as the development coming later, we are not able to have any reaction from the BJP. But tomorrow or tonight in the late, I think I will be trying to have a BJP reaction also. But now the only reaction is from Congress and the NPP MLAs who have already left BJP. And this 3 BJP MLA have also left the BJP and joining hand with the Congress. And one is from Trinamool Congress and the Independent. So we are getting reaction from them. No one is happy. All the 9 MLAs are not happy. Then as of now, we do not have any reaction from the BJP. We are trying our level best to have a reaction from the BJP also, Nabran.
Sharad, any updates on who could be the new chief ministerial face?
I think that that remains to be seen. I think it will be decided. Probably, I think this chief minister, so far as chief minister is concerned, I think in case the new government is forming by the Congress split, having support from many MLAs, many political parties, I think that needs to be decided. That could be decided in the later.
Absolutely, Sharad. Keep track of all those developments and get some reactions from the leaders. This is a big story this evening. 9 MLAs have extended support to the Congress in Manipur that has brought the BJP-led coalition government in the state to a minority. Congress-led coalition now may stake claims for formation of the government anytime. Sharad, do try to get some reactions. We'll come back to the story as early as possible, Sharad. Thank you so much for all those updates. Well, so big development there from Manipur. 9 MLAs have decided to back the Congress, bringing the N. Biren Singh-led government to a minority. We'll keep a track of this story and bring you all the latest updates. Once again, sorry to keep my panelists, my guests waiting. If I can go to Mr. Tapirgaon first, Mr. Tapirgaon, again, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today has sent across a clear message to China that India is capable of giving a befitting reply. All fine, but why do you think personally this has been the biggest escalation in decades? What could have prompted China to make this deliberate attempt to destabilize peace? We have had escalations in the past, but those were mere scuffles, so to say. This has crossed all limits.
Goswami, I would like to tell you that our leader, our Honorable Prime Minister has lightly given the statement. And I would also like to add that the China should not think that India is remaining of 1962. Today, this is 2020, under the leadership of Narendra Modi ji. The India is with a different strength, different strategy, different capabilities. So the war is not the ultimate and ultimatum, but I would like to see that socially, economically, politically, the China is being suppressed by the entire world, and they want to get rid out of this situation. That's why they are engaging with our army, and our 20 army personnel has martyred for the nation. So, if there is a war, we have the capacity. But the war is not the only means to resolve the issues. So, first, diplomatic effort should be there. The global diplomatic effort should be there. So, we are trusting, and the nation is trusting. We are united behind Narendra Modi ji and with Indian army.
War is not
to
the
face
war
any
is
consequence with China.
War is not at all the solution. Mr. Ninong Ering, do you see this as the Chinese bid to stamp supremacy once and for all in post-COVID times, when China is being seen as the superpower by many countries across the globe?
Situation now, but I will disagree, because now all the Western world, or even the United States, is against them. And under pressures, I think they have taken a decision that we should divert, because they have their own problems at home. A lot of the political parties or the supporters within themselves also, it is being disbanded. So I think that, that's my own assumption. But you will see that China, since you can say in the McMahon line, they still claim in 1938 it was drawn by the British, where they still claim that Arunachal is part of Tibet, southern Tibet. And even in the last Sky Map, which is China's, there is a political authority to digital this thing. They have expressed that Arunachal is within China. Of course, we have objected to it, the government has objected to it. But presently now, my younger brother Tapirgaon is always praising Narendra Modi ji. Now, I know Narendra Modi ji when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and he used to have, always blame out the central government. We are not like that. We, even wherever we are, even the Congress party, I'm sure they will all be, supporting the government in, any any kind of a consequence. But I think that the Prime Minister has rightly called all the party meeting and he has called all the members of Parliament and will be taking suggestions from them. Like I saw the Honorable MP Mr. Tapirgao's comments on the print. I really support him in that, and I feel proud that he's representing us there, irrespective of party line. But here I am saying that when we in one place we are saying that okay, we have to take a very strong action against China. Now the integral part of India cannot be compromised. Now you are saying that BJP is doing good. Now I'll say when in Nathula, when we stood and we fought against the Chinese, and we could still save Nathula. But here we cannot, just compromise on the Chinese. And you can see the amount of people, 20 Jawans have sacrificed their lives, and we were not ready. They came with sticks, they came with sticks, wrapped by barbed wires and nails. So they were already ready, and they were, any kind of,
They were ready. They were ready.
They were ready.
Hence, it was deliberate. Patricia
Yes,
Mukim.
it was deliberate.
Patricia Mukim. There's a growing call for stern action. But what we have to realize probably is that, the war against China. I don't want to call it a war, but to tackle China, you need a long, drawn strategy. It cannot happen in a day. Probably have to chalk out a 10-year, 20-year plan. Have we even started?
See, it's very easy now to, to think, to be jingoistic, to be emotional. But I think what Xi Jinping is doing is he's trying to have this military grandstanding because there is a lot of internal insecurity in China, after COVID and after the boycott of most countries of Chinese products and withdrawal of so many corporates and companies from that country. It's now actually being isolated by the Western world. So it's just trying to do a political grandstanding. Should we be responding in the same manner? Should India be responding in the same manner? It is so easy for people sitting in studios and panelists like us to, to propagate war. But war is never the solution. And we know that 1962, those of us who were there in 1962, we were still very small, but we know the cost of a war. So a war is never an option. And I think, this has to be de-escalated at several levels, diplomatic, military, and whatever, because it's not going to be an easy military solution, even if we were to go to war. The terrain is so very dangerous, so very difficult for our soldiers. So let's not even talk of a war.
Absolutely.
I think now India has to start to de-escalate. Of course, China is a very poor customer when it comes to respecting laws and agreements and all that. But I think we'll have to engage the rest of the world as well in this
Absolutely.
in this conflict.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mr. Tapirgao, you along with Ninongaring, you have been very vocal as far as the Chinese issue is concerned, as far as the safety, security, territorial integrity of the nation is concerned. But we all know that tackling China militarily should be the last option. So as a nation, as states, are we preparing to be self-reliant? What are the preparations that we are making? Say, for instance, we cannot forget that even back in 1962, a face-off at the Galvan Valley was perhaps the trigger point for the war. As almost the same is repeated in 2020, are we preparing as states?
Mr. Goswami, I would like to tell my elder brother Nindongiring, the INC MLA, we all northeastern region is a forceful Indian. Why? Because In 1962, Nehru addressed the nation and he said that my heart goes to the people of Assam. He surrendered the entire northeast to the China. This is not the Nehru era. Our INC honorable MLA should remember that this is not Nehru era, this is Modi era. Rightly, Madam has rightly pointed out.
Probably we
War
also need
is
to
not
move
the
beyond Nehru and
ultimatum.
Modi.
Just a minute,
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'd like to come in
I'll
here.
add one
Yes,
point.
yes. Patricia Mukim wants to make a point.
I'd like to come in
You,
here. This is not about politics. This is about the country and the people.
yeah, go ahead, Mr. Tapirgao.
Let me, madam, let me complete it. Let me complete it. Diplomatic is one means to engage with China. Militarily, all major general officials levels has also engaged till today. And rightly, PM and external affairs ministers and defense minister, they are also engaging. War is not the only means to resolve this issue, these differences, these Chinese expansion policies against all the border states with China. So we need to engage diplomatically, militarily, and there is a world forum also. With that, we have to engage and we have to find out first a solution to de-escalate the situations. And if anything goes beyond that, that is an issue that we need to discuss elaborately in all the television forum. Let the head of the country decide if any consequences arises.
No, but Mr. Ninong Ering, are we preparing a long-drawn strategy to tackle the Chinese? That would be economic, military, multi-pronged approach. Are we even preparing for that? We cannot rest on rhetorics. I'm not saying our army is capable. 2020 is not 1962. All that is fine. But even China is powerful. Let's face it. Can we force China not to act irresponsibly in the future? That is what I'm talking about.
No, I will not agree to that. Let me be very frank. Are our borders secured? I would ask, not Mr. Kapilwar, I would like to ask the Defense Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, or even the Prime Minister, are we secure? Do we have the infrastructure? Even when we went for the Bofors guns, which are now, of course, जो तैनात किया गया हमारा सीमाओं में, are we ready? Do we have the roads? Roads का इतना बारे में बोलते हैं. हम लोग पहले बोलते हैं first is the infrastructure. हमारा infrastructure ready नहीं है. There is only one, connected, border that is in Bhumla.
But that is happening now. Infrastructure is happening now, sir. Infrastructure is finally happening now.
No. Even US always living in the last 70 years. I'll tell you, it is the mindset of the Central India. So that is why, in 1962 war, they say that, okay, with the Chauhan-Lais and Mr. late Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's Hindi Chini bye bye, that, slogan. And now also you'll say that last time the Honorable Prime Minister of both China and India, they were having, झूले में झूल रहे थे, लेकिन फिर क्या हो गया? What happened after that? That is the thing is that in 1960 also, it was not the, the governments of India or China. I will not say these were, we will not say Modi or Jawaharlal Nehru, but we will say that it was people was, Jaswant, that where they have the Jaswantgarh, where he stood, the Indian army, the Jawan, who sacrificed their lives, and the people of Arunachal Pradesh, who secretly gave them food, who provide them ammunition. So these kind of feeling has to be within us. Not say Modi or Nehru, or that is past. Forget that. Let us think that suppose, God forbid, something happens. Are we ready in Arunachal? I'm not accepting that. Let it be the fault of the Congress. Let it be the fault of the BJP. But why are the infrastructures still not developed? That is what I would like to say.
Patricia Mukim, China also has a lot of business stakes in India. Probably we should now look to cash in on that too.
Yeah, even recently they've signed several contracts worth thousands of crores of rupees. I certainly do not understand why we are doing that, why we can't look, other partners. Having said that, I want to go back to what Mr. Ninong Ering had said just now about infrastructure creation. Why has India taken so long to build roads in Arunachal Pradesh that would look as good as the roads on the other side of the border, or the infrastructure on the other side of the border, which is China? Why have we taken so long to build proper roads and infrastructure in the Ladakh region? And that region used to be called a very peaceful border. I visited that region, and there's never been a single bullet fired. It's a very peaceful region. So why is that region becoming so brutal very suddenly? I put it to the fact that China is looking at a post-COVID economic build-up for itself. And I think China is also not very happy with the fact that India is cozying up to the US, because I feel that India should always be non-aligned. I think it's always better that this country not join any lobby group, because then you become part of this lobby and that lobby, and this is why China is trying to get at us, is trying to tell us not to join the Western lobbies.
Absolutely. Before I go to a short break, Tapirgao, infrastructure building has been a concern, but finally it's happening now. Is it happening at a pace that it should happen again?
See, Mr. Goswami, the panel member Madam has rightly pointed out. What government of India has done mistake during Congress rule, they have made a policy that the border area along the China border should not be developed. There should be a 200-300 kilometers from the Meghmon lines. Not only in Arunachal, I have visited Uttarakhand, I have visited Himachal Pradesh, I have gone to Pangong Lake and the dam shops. This is the policy the government of India during Congress rule, they have this policy that we should not connect the border. After Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government came to power, the border area development fund has been created, and now today in Arunachal Pradesh also, in many districts, the 2-lane highways are being constructed towards the border, and almost all the borders area has been connected. It was a mistake after 62, and a concept was there that if we construct road to the border of China, then if any consequence happen like 62, this road and infrastructures will be used by the China. That wrong concept was with the previous government. Today, we have seen in many places in Himachal, Uttarakhand, and even in Sikkim also, I have been to Guru Dongmar Lake and the fingertips area from where I look down the Tibet Valley too. So all the highways, all the roads are being constructed after Vajpayee and Modi ji came to power.
So you are satisfied. You are satisfied. You are saying you are satisfied with the pace. You are saying you are satisfied with the pace of the work, but you are the one who has been very vocal in the parliament, raising certain issues about developments. We'll take that after the break, and we'll also be joined by Shamim Zakaria from Beijing after the break. Also, Brigadier Ranjit Borthakur will be joining us. Time for a short break. Welcome back. You're watching Bottom Line. We're discussing the current standoff between India and China. Tapir Gao, BJP MP from Arunachal, is with us. So is Ninong Ering, Congress MLA from Arunachal. Patricia Mukim, editor of Shillong Times, is also with us. And we're being joined now by Shamim Zakaria, a journalist from Beijing, former international desk editor of the Global Times. We're also being joined by Brigadier Ranjit Borthakur, also former APSC chairman. A very warm welcome to both of you to Bottom Line. If I can go to Shamim Zakaria first. Shamim, how is China looking at this entire incident, which is the biggest escalation along LAC since perhaps 1967, Shamim?
Hi, Navarun. Firstly, thank you for having me on Northeast Live. At the moment, what China is thinking, we have to cite the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, and they have adopted a very clear line. Firstly, that is, China would not compromise when it comes to its territorial sovereignty or when it comes to its territorial integrity. Firstly. Second of all, China has already made it clear that it wants peace with its neighbors or with any other countries. But if it is provoked, then it will also not fear any kind of alteration. So that's the line China has adopted. But also, I must add here that the Foreign Ministry spokesperson yesterday in its afternoon briefing, he clearly said that even though there were casualties on both the sides, but he's not gonna put out the numbers exactly from the Chinese side, and that is
casualties
because
on Chinese
he don't want to spoke any kind of hyper-nationalistic views or any kind of sentiments on the Chinese side, so that it might give rise to any kind of untoward situation among the Chinese people. So that's the clear line. So basically, they're saying that, well, we want peace, but at the same time, when it comes to our
Shamim,
sovereignty,
sounds all
there
good.
is no
Sounds all good. But that is India's stand too. That it will not tolerate any action that challenges its territorial integrity or puts its sovereignty at stake. Both sides are claiming that the incident took place in their side of the LAC, but it can't continue like this, can it, Shamim?
Yeah, exactly. Because I was just now following the Chinese Foreign Ministry, who briefed just now about the phone call between Minister of External Affairs India, Mr. Ajay Shankar, and the Chinese Foreign Ministry Wang Yi. And they even reiterated the same thing, that from the Chinese side is saying that it was the Indian forces which crossed the border and went into the Chinese territory, and that led to an escalation and the physical fight. But on the other side, Indian soldiers are saying that it is the Chinese soldiers who erected the tents there, and they violated and tried to change the status quo unilaterally. At this point, what I would say is we should leave it to the wise leaders of the two nations and the military. I think both the countries are in the wise hands, and they know how to sort this sort of issues. And of course, like, whatever is happening is not a good thing, and it kind of affects the people of both the nations and kind of hinders people-to-people exchange. But at the same time, I would say that let's just wait and let's just see how how the two forces disengage and the situation kind of de-escalates.
Shamim, why do you think this massive escalation took place at a time when military level talks were going on continuously? Is it directly related to India's initiative to construct key roads in the Finger area around the Pangong So Lake, and construction of another road connecting the Darbuk Sayok, Daulatbeg, all the road in Galwan Valley that China cannot digest anymore? I mean, why does China have a problem all of a sudden?
Oh, well, now if I have to answer this question, I definitely have to go by the versions of the Indian Foreign Ministry, which claim that...
The Chinese, you mean?
Sorry, if I have to answer this question, I have to go by the version of the Chinese Foreign Ministry. And they said that it was because India violated the border and they crossed into the Chinese territory and were continuing constructions even after the June 6th talk, which effectively was to disengage from the territory and to diffuse the situation. But then India tried to violate the consensus that was being reached after that talk. But again, when it comes to the Indian side, they are claiming that the Chinese troops, massive number of Chinese troops, they dug in the tents and they were trying to change the status quo unilaterally. So I would say that at the moment, whatever we are seeing, it's all based on assumption and presumption. So I would say that let's just wait and see what
All right. Tapirgaon-
the leaders of the two nations what statements they give out, and just wait for
Tapirgaon
that.
wants
And
to
based on
Tapirgaon
that,
wants
we
to make
should
a point
form our
here.
opinion. Especially, I would like to say that I was looking at the social media and the trending that were going on. It was really, vile. So I would just say that we should not engage in that kind of war of sentiments or warmongering, and just leave it to the leaders of the two
Yes,
nations who are wise
Tapirgaon.
enough. And they
Tapirgaon,
are
come in.
doing
Tapirgaon
two
wants to
big
make a point.
Sir, I'm not clearly getting here honorable panel's Global Times points, some of the points, but he has mentioned that China has violated. I would like to tell him that China has deliberately violated the line of actual control in the Galwan Valley, because Galwan Valley is the only way from where they will connect the Siok River, and from left bank of the Siok River they will go to Dola Bek, and they try to reach the Karakoram Pass. They have, when the military, major general level military engagement is there, MEA engagement is there, all diplomatically and militarily, when they are engaging each other to de-escalate the situation, why China has deliberately martyred our 20 soldiers in the Galwan Valley, because Galwan Valley is the only lifeline for future China to reach Karakoram Pass. So India has not violated. The China has measured and renamed the line of actual control in Galwan Valley, because I know that area very personally, and I have been to that area, so I know that area. So our panel member, Global Times editors, former editors, might have confused somewhere.
Patricia Mukim, that is the problem. Every time there is a conflict, both sides claim that the incident happened within their territory, and with the regions disputed or as they appear, there is perhaps no way to ascertain things, and that's how they remain.
Yeah, but Nabarun, if you remember, recently India had to rely, or rather some media channels had to rely on that open intelligence source, that Frasca or whatever it is called. So if we really have no satellite imagery of that place from our own formal sources, we always have to rely on this open intelligence source. And the government of the day is not even giving the media or the people of India a briefing. So how do we know what exactly is the situation there? We know there's engagement between the troops. We know that the Chinese buildup is around 10,000 strong, if not more. And on the Indian side, we know that there were about 500 soldiers. But all these, like Shamim is saying, they're all in the realm of speculation. I think it's not good for us to speculate as a media channel or as media persons.
Absolutely.
And to just escalate this whole issue. Because, as I said earlier, war is not an option. It can never be an option. We need to know the Chinese mind, and we need to, act accordingly, not just react. We need to be, so I think, as a country.
Absolutely. Brigadier Ranjit Borthakur, why do you think this sudden escalation along the LAC in Ladakh, do you think this is directly related again to India's initiative to carry out infrastructural activities in the areas close to the LAC? Does China feel threatened, or does it think it will have an impact upon China's bid to keep a lot of these areas disputed?
Yeah, this is one of the point. The major point is that they want to keep India and some other countries engaged. And India being the country with land border with China, living as a Bhutan, so India definitely comes in their overall thinking. Moreover, along with that, they have been instances where they have communicated that our getting closer to USA is doing us more harm. They do not want us to get closer to USA. And with the construction of the road was in fact constructed last year. Now from the road, we are constructing some feeder road, that is lanes towards the heights. So that obviously, if we have constructed and we have got more domination to their two main roads. So that is also a point. Thirdly, as far as the important point is that at no point of time Galwan Valley was considered as a disputed area in any of our discussion since 62. So that means China, if they want, they can create problem for anywhere and claim as their own area. These are the points. So we have to be very careful. And this time they have planned it and they have made the inclusion in number of areas, not only in Galwan. You can see the 4 or 5 areas in Pangangsu and Galwan
Brigadier
Valley.
Bothakur, from whatever reports are emerging, the violent clash seems to be a deliberate attempt by the Chinese to send across a stern message to stamp its supremacy during this post-COVID scenario. Well, even unarmed Indian soldiers were killed by what is being termed as a death squad of the PLA. This is brutal.
No, that I do agree, but it is very surprising. We had a talk on the 6th of June when it was decided that both the countries will disengage, even our army will fall back. They will fall back from the area they occupied. And that was the process was there. They had already disengaged a little bit from some other places. Now here it was decided that they will disengage. Now on that, that is yesterday or day before yesterday, whatever they fixed. But when our people went to verify, they found there one or two tents were still fully. Now that was the point when probably our people who went on good faith to see that without arms they were attacked by the Chinese. And the initial lot, to my knowledge, not many troops had gone. They had gone with the commanding officer of 16 Bihar and maybe about 20 odd people. So they were attacked the first lot. Then the whole thing continued for 4 to 5 hours. So definitely they came with a deliberate plan. They had brought some iron and other things, and they
Deliberate ploy. Deliberate ploy. Shamim Zakaria.
After being
Shamim Zakaria, this incident, this is not a patrolling drive gone wrong kind of a situation. We in India feel this is a planned aggression by China, which had started building up troops and equipment along its side of the LAC since early May. Clearly, there was an intent for something big.
Yes, I have seen this statement, and they said that it was a premeditated statement. But again, right after that meeting that happened between the Indian foreign minister, Indian external affairs minister and Chinese foreign minister, the Chinese foreign ministry categorically mentioned that it was in fact the Indian side which violated the border and crossed into the territory. So yeah, like both sides are putting the blame on each other. But yeah, what I would say is just let not speculate and just wait for the situation to diffuse.
Let's not speculate, but Shamim, there have also been reports that the quote-unquote PLA death squad went after unarmed Indian soldiers when they were unprepared. Should two superpowers engage in this fashion, especially China, which is being dubbed as the superpower by many in the post-COVID scenario? I mean, should India and China engage in this fashion?
Oh, well, definitely. Like, if you go by report, yeah, the report you just mentioned, I also read it like a bit just a while back. And yeah, as you rightly mentioned, like at a time when the world is going through this sort of a crisis, and especially as neighbors with shared culture, shared history, I think we should like engage in diplomatic level talks or military level talks, whatever it is. Like, I'm not expert into that, but whatever it is, they should engage and try to diffuse the situation, because that again hinders hinders the cooperation and exchanges between the two massive nations. So I believe like whatever the situation is, and it will eventually be diffused. I'm pretty optimistic about that.
Ninong Ering, Tapirgao, I'll come to you. This seems to be the problem. Every time there is a face-off between India and China, well, clearly neither side can probably prove anything, and that's why it reaches a dead end every time. Ninong Ering, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying this
Yeah.
seems to be a problem. Every time there's a face-off, neither side can prove anything. There are allegations and counter-allegations,
Yes, yes.
but nothing can be proved.
Yes, on the news, we have just said that now Li Jiang, who is the spokesperson of the Chinese side, has said that India has, crossed over, and they have, the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of China has been, touched. But here, if you see, the territorial integrity of India is more and foremost, it is important, because here you'll see when they took the Songnungsu Valley, which I think Mr. Kapil also will support me in this, because this was the land which belonged to us. But that also, on the same way, they have snatches from Arunachal, and now the Chinese army, the PLA is there, they've settled down. So what we have to, the best thing, if we have to look forward, is that there has to be a very strong, kind of commitment between both the leaders of India and China. Then there has to be, both the territorial integrity has to be maintained. China has to accept the McMahon Line of 1938. They even have to, share the information between
But
both
that
the
is
countries.
clearly not happening. Before I come to you, Tapirgao, Brigadier Borthakur, do you think such actions as the one witnessed in Galwan Valley are in continuation with China's expansionist policy, which is take 2 steps forward and 1 step backward?
Yeah, I agree with you. They have been gradually making inroads, and many places once they come, the area they not fully vacate also. This we have seen from 60s and all. So overall, they have a very big game plan, and important point is the game plan is approved by the highest leader, that is Xi Jinping, because he controls the People Liberation Army. He is the commander-in-chief. Unlike our country, where commander-in-chief is the president of country, in China, the executive, the Xi Jinping, he is the head of the People Liberation Army. And most of the leaders, most of the generals are selected by him. So overall, he had the blessing of the highest political and leadership to carry out such move. So, but we not let this
So the
happen.
intent
So
is
India has
clear.
to think of
Intent seems
something
clear.
by which China must learn that they cannot continue to do such type of things with their
Yes,
neighbors.
but again, Brigadier Borthakur, talking logistically, if China continues to be adventurous and the situation escalates further, how capable is India to hold on to its own? In short, can we afford a bigger escalation with China? Let's be practical. Can we afford it?
Firstly, we do not want escalation with China. But
No, we do
if we
not,
trust
yes.
upon all over the borders of 4,000 kilometers, we are definitely poised to take the Chinese. So that logistically, the troop-wise, we are quite ready to take any of the advances of China. But probably they have understood yesterday that they cannot continue to do this. So it's much better for China to disengage, go back to their own location, and talk politically, diplomatically with her country. China is in the worst position internationally. They have been, because of the handling of COVID, because of the activities in South China Sea, or because of the Hong Kong and Taiwan, that are at
Not
the
easy.
receiving end.
Not
So we
easy.
are in a very strong position.
Not easy to meddle with India
diplomatically,
anymore.
politically, and
That's
China
the
is
message.
aware of that.
Not easy to meddle with India anymore. Tapirgao, Mr. Tapirgao, last remarks, last comments. We need to prepare ourselves more, both economically, militarily, and it has to begin. It has to begin at the earliest.
Goswami, I'm not getting your voice.
I'm saying, can you hear me now? Okay, we will try to fix that line.
No, it's getting disturbed.
Okay, we'll try to fix that line very quickly. Well, last question to Shamim Zakaria. Shamim Zakaria, can we expect a de-escalation? What are you picking up from your sources in Beijing? Can you expect things to cool down in the days to come?
Yeah, sure. So the thing is, right now they have already troops of both the nations have already disengaged from that disputed territory. And after that, there was again, if I'm not wrong, commander level talks were held between forces of the two sides just to sort out what happened. And I think they have also the Indian side have been asked to order an inquiry and look into like what went wrong and what kind of led to this massive escalation. And at the moment, there is also a massive fear of second wave of the coronavirus outbreak in Beijing.
Absolutely.
Because fresh cases were reported.
The pandemic is still
at the
here.
moment, China is focusing on battling this. And if I go by the reports in the Chinese media and also like whatever has been reported and what is the focus of the Chinese media, is it that they solely want to focus on battling the COVID-19 issue in Beijing, because that's their
Everyone
prime
should.
concern.
Everyone should. Thank
And
you so
whatever
much.
is happening at the border,
Thank you
they
so
have
much, Shamim
left it
Zakaria.
to the-
Patricia Mukim, last words. What should be the way ahead for us?
See, before we think of the way ahead, we also have to think about, we have to consider that China wants to have a hold on all of the world bodies, like the World Health Organization. India will be joining the World Health Organization very soon. China has always been blocking India's place in the UN Security Council. I do not know what sort of diplomatic engagements we've had that we've not been able to soften China's stance on that. What is it that China fears the most? So I think, if you ask me, I think India has also to build up its diplomatic relations with
Absolutely.
its immediate neighbors, especially countries like Nepal, which are now showing their, cocking a snook
Absolutely,
at this
we are
country.
surrounded. We are surrounded. I'm falling short of time. Tapirgao, last remarks. What should be the way ahead for us? Very quickly, sir.
Yeah. See, we must maintain our all the ability diplomatically. In the military point of view also, we should negotiate. If at all nothing is happening as far the dirty game of the Chinese PLA and the Chinese government, what our Honorable Prime Minister has rightly pointed out, India can give the true reply to the
I
nations
think diplomatically
who
we have to be more
with the
active.
difference against the country.
Diplomatically, we have to be more active. Ninong Ering,
Yeah,
very quickly, 30 seconds,
diplomatically-
last words. I'm completely out of time, sir.
I'll just say that yes, diplomacy must be there, and also, but we must safeguard our territorial integrity and talks between both the heads must be there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Tapirgao. Thank you so much, Patricia Mukim. Thank you so much, Ninong Ering. That's a wrap of Bottom Line. We do hope that things de-escalate sooner than later.